Now I hope all of you guys are having a great day. This is your fourth stimulus check update and daily news report. So we have a ton of news to go over in today's stimulus check update. And we have some breaking news from Congress surrounding your fourth stimulus check. Now I need you guys to know that a Democrat in the House of Representatives want to extend the federal eviction ban to help millions of renters across the nation. And House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is advocating a temporary fix, urging the Biden administration to act unilaterally to help the United States' most vulnerable renters. Everybody, what do you think about Speaker Nancy Pelosi? Is she doing all that it takes to help out the American people like you and I? Tell me your thoughts on Speaker Nancy Pelosi in the comments below. And before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. On this channel, I always do my very best in providing you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check information. So it really means a lot to me if you guys could subscribe to my channel.
In order to prepare the legislative text, staff members from our committees, the group of bipartisan senators, the Legislative Council have worked not just long hours, but endured sleepless nights to finish writing the bill. And the work I'm talking about, a massive down payment towards rebuilding our nation's infrastructure, will benefit our economy for years and decades.
Now, as I said earlier, Nancy Pelosi said the CDC, which has instituted a ban of evictions through the end of Saturday, should extend the deadline even further, giving House Democrats more time to codify the extension in legislation. Speaker Pelosi told reporters on Capitol Hill, "I think this is something that will work out. It isn't about any more money. The money is there, resting in localities and governor's offices across the country. So we'd like the CDC to expand the moratorium, and that's where it can be done." The remarks come as Speaker Pelosi and other Democratic leaders are scrambling to locate the votes to extend the eviction moratorium legislatively. And that's a request that President Biden made only Thursday. The Rules Committee considered the topic on Friday morning, debating a proposal sponsored by Democratic Representative Maxine Waters, who is the head of the Financial Services Committee, which initially would have extended the moratorium through the end of 2021. What are your thoughts on this, everybody? Should the federal eviction ban continue? Should it be extended as Speaker Pelosi wants? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below, everybody. But a number of minor Democrats are opposed to the bill. One put the number of Democratic opponents at 14, citing the length of the extension. That opposition led Democratic leaders to shrink the window of the benefit to expire on October 18th, although it remains unclear if that concession is enough to win the support of the centrist holdouts. Pelosi also wrote to Democrats on Friday afternoon, "It is our hope that we could pass a bill extending the eviction moratorium to that date immediately." Meanwhile, Democrats of all stripes are grumbling that Biden waited until Thursday, just 2 days before the House is scheduled to leave Washington for a long summer vacation, to request that Congress take up the issue. Democratic Representative Jim McGovern, chairman of the Rules panel, told also to reporters, "I quite frankly wish that President Biden had done this sooner." Folks, President Biden's request came weeks after the Supreme Court on June 29th had warned that the CDC lacks the authority to extend the moratorium beyond July 31st without congressional action. So Pelosi then responded by saying, "We're not going away from this issue. Whether it's now or shortly thereafter, we're going to have to find a solution." In the meantime, however, Pelosi is calling on the nation's governors to use billions of dollars that Congress has already allocated to help renters. She put the figure at $46 billion in unspent assistance. And she argued that the CDC does have the authority to extend the moratorium on its own. Folks, in the last stimulus package, Congress has allocated more than $45 billion in rental assistance. So if you're proof for the relief funds, besides the stimulus checks in the third stimulus package, you can get up to 18 months of rent covered. If you haven't applied yet, you should act quickly. Doing so could help you stay in your home longer. The National Low Income Housing Coalition has a state-by-state list of the 483 programs giving out the federal money. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau also has a new tool to help you apply for rental relief. And to be eligible for the funding, at least one member of your household has to qualify for unemployment benefits, or attest in writing that they've lost income or incurred significant expenses due to the crisis. You will also need to demonstrate a risk of homelessness, which may include a past due rent or utility notice. In addition, folks, your income level for 2020 cannot exceed 80% of your area's median income. Those states have been directed to prioritize applicants who fall at 50% or lower, as well as those who've been out of work for 90 days or longer. Some state and local programs have set additional priorities, and you may want to search for those. You could receive up to 18 months of assistance, including a mix of payments for back and future rent. If you've already been approved for rental funds but continue to be left behind, You can apply again as long as you're requesting relief for a different period of time. Folks, that's all the news in this video. If you guys found this video in any way useful or helpful, then be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like.
Thank you, Madam President. With the presiding officer's help and the help of 48 others in this body, we provided back in March in an amendment, and then in final passage, we provided the biggest tax cut, largest tax cut for working families ever. It's called the Child Tax Credit. It's been several years in the making. We didn't make much progress the last 4 years, but an election of a new president, coupled with a new United States Senate, has made all the difference in the world. In my state, 2.4 million children are eligible. In 2.1 million of those, I'll get to that in a moment, we haven't reached everybody yet. 2.1 million children last week in the mail, in their mailbox, or in direct deposit in their parents' bank accounts. 2.1 million children were the beneficiaries of either $250 or $300 last week. So every month, July 15th, coming up August 15th, September 15th, October 15th, children from 0 to 5 will get, their parents will get $300 each of those months. If their children are 6 to 17, those families will get $250 per child. Almost every child, 92% of children in Ohio, roughly the same, 9 out of 10 in the state of Wisconsin, the presiding officer's state, will be getting their families will be getting these checks in the mail. In a sort of a macro big way, we know this does a number of things. First of all, it drops the poverty rate among America's children by almost 50%. Imagine that one bill we do drops the poverty rate among children in this country by 50%. Something government's never been able to do, and because of this child tax credit, the largest tax cut for working families in American history, it's going to make a huge difference on a macro way. Another, in a macro sort of way, people of Wisconsin and Ohio and other states will benefit because we're injecting this kind of money. In Ohio, last week, $550 million was sent to the state from the federal government to these children, to these families. And for most of these families, this is
hard all their lives, who played by the rules, who did everything they were supposed to do. And then it just takes, just like you described, that one instant in a car accident or one bad diagnosis on a medical problem for your daughter, and the whole thing turns upside down. It's time to raise Social Security payments across the board and disability payments.